I've never had a car that I've wanted to sell and get rid of, but fall in love with so often as I do with my Maserati. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm gonna make this video dedicated to why I think I fall out of love with that car, but fall right back in love with that car as soon as I open that door and sit inside of the cockpit. The number one thing, the first thing I believe that impacts me the most with the Maserati is that, well, my Gran Turismo is fast, but it is an automatic. I think within my heart of hearts, I really want my car to be a manual, but there's no such thing as a manual shifting Maserati unless you're talking about one of those MC Stradales from overseas, and that's not even something that's gonna be an option for me here. I do have the MC spec. It basically has everything on it visually to match the MC Stradale. It just doesn't have some of the transmission pieces, and obviously just the, I think the Stradale has a different exhaust, slightly different exhaust than mine, but it looks about the same. So it's all good from a looks perspective in the matching of the cars. At the same time, I think that's just something I'm missing. And that's a personal thing, but another personal thing that I've been working on that I want to address here is the fact that this is my first exotic car. And when I say exotic car, I mean I couldn't even get regular insurance on this car. This car required me to go to an exotic car insuring company like Haggerty in order for me to actually get insurance for this exotic car. There may be a reason why I keep it, because you just don't see many of my specs out. I finally saw somebody with my spec drive down the street. I've seen many Gran Turismos, many base Gran Turismos, some S Gran Turismos, some MC Centennial Gran Turismos, but I never saw an MC Coupe, which was spec like mine, until it came down the street. And my color, I gotta admit, my color was prettier than that one. But any Gran Turismo is pretty, but that one was just white, and white's kind of like a basic color for any car. So, no shade, no shade. it's for a Maserati, you're kind of like, I mean, you kind of want like some crazy color, some beautiful color. So in my brain, when I'm buying a car, people were telling me, oh my gosh, that car is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, that car's gonna be so expensive to fix. It's all I could think about. Like, I knew I could afford it, but that doesn't mean I wanna pay for it. Do you know what I'm saying? Who wants to pay for something? But that's the price you pay in order to have something that's nice. And then I have this issue where it's like, well, if I'm gonna pay that much for something that's nice, wouldn't I rather have like a 911 or maybe even something within the same realm like a Ferrari California, which I was actually very close to buying a Ferrari California before I bought the Gran Turismo. I was actually negotiating with the dealership, but it just happened to be 30 miles away, so it was going to take me a while to get up to that dealership. Plus, at that point in time, I didn't know that there was a Ferrari dealership in my city, which there is, and ironically, that's the same dealership that sells the Maseratis. They just didn't publicize it like that. So it's kind of weird now because now they really show it, but at that point in time, I didn't know. The speed of the Maserati it's not very torquey, but it's very powerful on the back end. So once you start getting over 3,000 RPM and you start getting close to that red line, you really start to feel that power. It's a big surge. It pushes forward. It almost feels like, I would equate it to almost like a turbo, because it's pushing you at the very end. In the beginning, between 1 to 3,000 RPM, you really don't feel anything special or magical, but it sounds magnificent. This car sounds so good driving slow. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good this car sounds driving it slow. It is the best sounding car I have ever heard that is not a V12 or a V10. Absolutely the best V8. I can't think of another one. Now, I've never heard the Lexus V8 that came out and had the Yamaha inspired exhaust. I've never seen that one, but from all the other ones I've ever heard, this one sounds amazing. It made my Corvette sound like a Fiat, like it was mad chill. It wasn't anything like that. This thing sounds like a musical instrument when you're on it, because when the low RPM rims, you get this really beautiful, beautifully full sound, right? It's almost like a tube amp on a guitar, a really expensive tube amp, and you're cranking it up, and you're like, oh my goodness, here we go. And then if you really wanna hit it to 11, Spinal Tap reference. You really wanna take it to 11, you floor it, downshift, find a tunnel. Oh my God, it's so crazy. It sounds so beautiful, my kids love it. I think that's the other big aspect of it is my kids can fit in the back of this car really easy. And in California, they're gonna have some back problems.